Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the December 8th, 2022 voluntary quarterly meeting, where we provide updates to the organization through the 5 different divisions. First off, I want to wish everyone happy holidays, and hopefully you find this recording and those who are here and standing room only in my office healthy and safe, and really looking forward to our upcoming breaks to spend with family. So I'm going to kick it off today with some executive services overview, and then we will have Eric talk about technology infrastructure, Tim with curriculum services, and then we'll finish our session today reviewing student services information from that. So first thing I wanted to talk about, as you know, today the Pennsylvania Supreme Court heard arguments around the mask mandate, and currently, and I haven't checked the news since coming online here, the mask mandate statewide is still in place at this point in time. Do know that if and when the mask mandate is lifted from the state, that means that we would revert back to our health and safety plan. And as I communicated to the organization, I believe before, that fallback then goes to site-specific requirements, and also then organization-wide, it would be to the need to wear a mask anytime in the presence of a child. Do know that we are looking at the data that's coming out, with the cases in the county and so on, as well as looking at how we may revise our mitigation efforts, just based on the data and the lifting of the mandate. So just stay tuned. We won't do a knee-jerk reaction when it comes to when that comes out. We'll make sure that we're thoughtful and we'll communicate out. We just ask for your patience as we kind of navigate what may happen with the Supreme Court, or when the governor supposedly is going to lift it no later than January 17th. But again, we just have to stay patient and see things through with that. So that's the mask mandate and kind of an update there. Did want to share my appreciation for the team that deals with all the different reports, specifically Kim Bush when it comes to the staff reports of COVID, either positives and close contacts. And then when it comes to the student side of this, would be the nurses at Clairview, as well as Colleen Suchko and Becky McGee, as well as our EI team, Denise Justine and Heather, and all of the work that they have to do when it comes to reporting those cases of students and then having to do the contact tracing thereafter. Just to put it in context, so since July 24th of 2020, we've had over 245 staff reports. Now that doesn't mean that means they're all positives, they're all close contacts, but those are just 245 touch points that had to be investigated and followed up on. That's for like staff side, and about 177 student reports, within the system. So just imagine each of those reports sometimes involve 1, 2, 3 emails and or phone calls. So just the amount of time is just not into the hours, it's into the days, if not weeks of time that is being spent by the team that I mentioned earlier. So, again, we just have to continue to be resilient with our mitigation efforts, the basic sneezing in your elbow, washing your hands, social distancing, things like that. We just have to continue doing the best that we can to minimize any potential, spread, as we have, a new variant now that we have to keep the track of and things like that. So anyway, just wanted to kind of share those two things. Now let's get into more fun topics, more happier topics to talk about. One thing is Variety Charity. Again, thank you to the 97 individuals who have participated in Variety Charity Dress Down Days. I'm very happy to share that of those 97 in total, we've raised $3,410 that will be donated to Variety Charity, which provides those adaptive bikes, adaptive strollers, and also communication devices. So can't thank you enough for your continued support, and always love seeing people wearing their buttons on variety dress down days. And so if you see folks who don't have a button, please encourage them to sign up, because it's never too late to sign up to participate with that. All right. Also, another happy time to talk about is that of comprehensive planning. After the first of the year, we are going to kind of dive back into the comprehensive planning process, where we'll be analyzing our mission, our vision, our shared values, our strategic principles, and really look and analyze the 6 goals that we identified 3 years ago to see how well we've progressed. And so if you're interested in participating in that organization-wide process, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because as we start organizing groups to meet and discuss, would love to have your input on that. Second to last thing I wanted to talk about is that of one of the things that we have embarked on over the last 2 years is we were to be the host of the PAIU annual conference, which meant we were in charge of doing a team building activity for the conference, statewide. And our first effort was to stuff 1,000 backpacks for students who become homeless. And even though that the conferences had been canceled, we still met that goal of packing 1,000 different backpacks. And so if you are aware of any organization that might benefit or work with students who are homeless, don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know, because we still have a number of backpacks here at the IU ready for distribution if a child is in need due to being homeless. Now, because we had completed that project, there was a hope that we would host the other conference, but so we had to come up with another idea. And so what we decided to do as a team was to celebrate the 50 years of intermediate units being in existence, that we were going to do a time capsule project. Well, conference was canceled, of course. However, we kept that idea rolling. And what we've done is we've asked all of the intermediate units to fill a mini time capsule box. Looks like this, okay? And then we also have asked our member districts, our CTCs, our one charter school. We also reached out to the non-public schools in the county as well, asking all of them to participate in filling up a mini time capsule. And all of these time capsules, and I think we're expecting about 60 of these mini time capsules, are going to go into one trophy kind of thingy. And it's going to be placed in the main office, in the front, in the lobby, to be displayed and showed off. And we are going to be opening that time capsule February 25th, 2072. So please make sure that you mark your calendars, because all of you are invited. And the special code to get a special seat then is VIP. So just remember that code, and we will get you a special seat at that at that opening ceremony. But before we do that, we have to dedicate the time capsule. So we're actually planning a big event that's going to be scheduled for February 25th, 2022, in which we're going to be inviting the governor, hopefully he shows up, the Secretary of Ed, as well as the Deputy Secretary of Elementary and Secondary Ed, as well as local legislators, superintendents, board members of the IU, former board members, and just as many people as we can in the Fred Rogers room, where we're going to do an official dedication ceremony for the time capsule. And so we are hoping, and I didn't really tell Eric this yet, but we are hoping to broadcast this and even do it statewide. We will have other IUs be present. For instance, our executive director of PAIU, Dr. George, will be there, as well as the current president of PAIU, Mark Hoffman, hopefully is going to be there from Bucks IU as well to say a few words. And then the culminating activities, we're going to have cake and cupcakes to celebrate 50 years of IUs. And of course, write down the calendar that we're going to open this thing up in 50 years from now. So, something different and something to look forward to. And we're really happy as part of this time capsule that each of our programs in the IU is going to have an opportunity to participate as well. And so I know Denise got a few boxes, right? Or will be getting a few boxes for EI, as well as, Matt's group, and all the, all different kind of boxes that are going to be out there. Each division is going to do one. Yeah, it's kind of a cool activity that the IU's embarked on, and we can forever say that we house the official PAIU time capsule here in our building, and we will. That'll be our claim to fame here for the next 50 years on that. So, okay. So, trying to think if there's anything else. Last but not least, we will be hopefully all together for our All Celebration Day that's scheduled for Wednesday, April 13th, in which we'll celebrate milestones when it comes to years of service, as well as celebrate our recent retirees. And those recent retirees are going to span back at least 2 years because we never had a chance to celebrate them yet. So we will also do something around the 50th anniversary too during that time. All right, well, that's my update. So thanks for your attention to all of that. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put it into the chat or follow up with an email from that. So that's from Executive Services. We'll now move on to Eric Vaughn with Technology and Infrastructure Services. So Eric, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks. Hi, everyone. Just some facilities updates since the last quarterly meeting. We have completed, or almost completed, the Bullard and the Boulder project at Clairview. The only thing that is left to do is some concrete work near the generator. They have to, we're going to do some redesign of the walkway in that area, but that has been postponed until spring when the weather breaks. The planners are in place out front of the entrances at the admin building. If there's anyone that wants to volunteer to become the caretakers of the planners, and when spring arrives, feel free to jump in and volunteer and plant whatever appropriate plants would look good out there.
What would be an inappropriate plant, like a cactus or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So we'll go with that.
Okay.
I've had some other input on types of plants that could help when people come into the building in the morning. So.
Gotcha. All right, thanks.
Yep. So they're over at Clairview. We're also going to be putting in some additional cameras. There's 2 more cameras that need to go in over there. So I know the maintenance and Gavin have been working on trying to find a good time to get those installed. Custodians, we are always looking for substitute custodians. So if you have anyone that would like to hop in and be a sub-custodian, we will gladly take their application and give them the opportunity to work for the IU in that capacity. I wanted to take a moment. We are short-staffed at the moment, and we've had Dee and Gavin jumping in to assist in that area. So thanks to those 2, and for Brian and Ron for putting in some OT as needed. So that's appreciated to keep us moving. Last thing related to facilities, at the last board meeting, the board approved and gave us permission to begin moving forward with a renovation project for the 3 meeting rooms out front. Our next step is to begin working out the plans with the architect and get that drawn up. And then we have to solicit PDE approval for this project because it is slated to be using our ESSER 3 funds to cover that cost. So there will be more developments on that project as we move forward. We'll hop over to technology real quick. Kiski Area School District has contracted with the IU to provide technology director services while they continue to navigate their restructuring of their central administration. So they have contracted with us. I am on site at Kiski between 20 and 25 hours a week to help their staff navigate all the logistics of their IT side of things and provide the support needed there. We're in the process of expanding our DocuWare rollout here at the IU. We use DocuWare as a document management system for archive scanning, those types of things. So we have been doing EI files, HR files, and recently we have moved into begin scanning access files. This will allow the staff to, in any location, be able to retrieve documents or look up things without necessarily needing to have a file cabinet and access to those physical files. So we're also working with Toshiba, who is our DocuWare rep, and we've been working with them to establish consortium pricing to help our districts that are interested in a document management solution to drive down that cost. And we had a pretty good meeting today with districts that are interested, and we have some that are ready to move forward with rolling that up as well. Last thing I have, we're in the process of rolling out a new contract management system. This will allow us to more centrally manage all the different types of agreements, whether they're vendor agreements or whether they're interagency service agreements with districts. This will allow us to digitize those and then also give us a way to electronically route these contracts to process them more efficiently. Yeah, so you'll be seeing some communications coming out from Dave Regula. He's the lead on that project. So he'll be reaching out to start scheduling some trainings and get everyone up to speed on that. I think that covers it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. And we'll now go to Tim Hamill for Curriculum Services Division. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Some updates here on the curriculum division side of things. I'll start with eAcademy. Of course, it's been a busy year once again for the Academy. But something exciting to share is that we had an opportunity recently to present eAcademy to a national audience at the AESA conference in Houston. Anytime we get an opportunity to share the unique program that we have here at Westmoreland IU, we take it. And when it's a national audience, we get very excited about that. We truly do have a unique approach to online learning and how we do what we do. And it's always interesting to hear comments and feedback from folks who are not here in our backyard. We sometimes take for granted what we have and what we do and how we do it. And when we get comments from folks that indicate that, you know, this is unique, this is different, this is really interesting, it really helps us understand how truly unique our program is. So that was a great opportunity, and I appreciated the board giving us the opportunity to move to that audience to express what we do in this program. Some of our stats right now, again, we're on the high end of things in terms of our normal numbers. Of course, last year was a great anomaly for us, and huge numbers in terms of our enrollments. But this year, once again, we see higher than normal enrollments. We're currently at 1,455 students who are part of courses, taking coursework with us. In total, right now, we're at 7,609 course enrollments so far this year. The number continues to grow every day. It has not stopped since day one. So it really is just an ongoing process. Another interesting fact is that we have 420 students in West Virginia associated with us at this point. We have a partnership with Wes Lyons, who is a former Steeler. Wes created a program called The Pursuit. We worked with Wes over the last year or so to move his course into an online setting, and he is now using our environment through eAcademy to deliver his course. And it's exciting that we had a hand in helping him produce that into the online world. And through a grant with the Benedum Foundation, Wes was able to secure funding along with us to provide that course to schools in West Virginia. So it is really an awesome opportunity. So that's going well. We are just now making a call for new teachers for the upcoming year. This is a regular occurrence. We're not in a shortage state for teachers, but we're always looking to add courses and add teachers to our mix. I know Becky's on the in the call here right now, and she would tell me to, hey, we always need teachers. We're not, we may not have a shortage, we're doing the job, but we can always use more. And we're always willing and able to increase our numbers in terms of course offerings. And that's something that we know we have to be doing to be competitive in the online world today. The options are quite varied. So we're looking for teachers. And if you know a teacher who might be interested out there, please send them our way. We'll let them know what they need to do to get involved. Also, I know eAcademy is in the midst of revamping teacher training. Sue Soltis has been working diligently to get the training up to date for our current status and our current issues and our current program components. So all of that is being revamped and be fresh and ready to go for the upcoming group of teachers coming in. So eAcademy keeps on rolling, and we're the whole team, thank you for everything you're doing there. Also, thanks to the technology side of things. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. They keep us running every single day. So we appreciate that. Moving on, another item. We recently worked with some individuals, an individual by the name of Cody Santiago, who is a school safety expert. And he came to us a while back through some of our contacts here in Westmoreland County with the idea for developing or delivering, I should say, an Act 45 course through us. And working collaboratively with him, we were able to get his course into the online environment, help him get that up and running. And we launched successfully a couple of months back. And actually, I don't think it was quite that long, more like 6 weeks ago now, but had 27 people take advantage of that offering, which is no small number considering that it's a rather hefty price tag that goes with that course. And we had 27 people from across the state take advantage of that. We'll continue to develop that and move forward. As a result of that success, one of the things that we're moving forward with now, and this is with the help of Joe Rice in Student Services, as our school safety coordinator, he is working with Cody now to develop a little further and perhaps look into the idea of a school safety certification that the IU would be a partner with. So great, exciting things coming through that partnership, and we're excited to see how that continues. I also wanted to mention, and this is something that sort of flies under the radar quite a bit here in the IU, but the numbers are pretty astounding in terms of continuing professional education, or CPE, as some of you know it. You may or may not know that we have a fairly extensive CPE program, and you may not know how quite extensive it is. In fact, when we look back at our totals for last year, we had just under 1,000 people across the state of Pennsylvania who took continuing professional education credits through us. That's an exciting number, And it's exciting that we're doing that every year. There's a lot of people that we reach, and a lot of people that we reach not just here in Westmoreland County, because our courses, because they're all online, we deliver those statewide. And currently, right now, we're already up to the 340 mark in terms of participants. So that puts us on par with our 1,000 a year total. 40 courses per semester typically will run. So there's a tremendous number of opportunities out there for people to get their continuing professional education credits. And these are all PDE certified credits that apply to permanent certification. So it is a great opportunity for people out there, our folk internally included. So please take a look at that. All those courses are available in our online catalog. Finishing up here, just two quick items. One, our statewide system of support. Joe and Jason are major players in that one, and I know that they're working hard to go out and support our schools with the statement of work that we have. Unique to this year is that our statement of work is very much open to us to work directly with our schools to provide supports that they need specifically. It's not so prescriptive this year, which means we are doing a lot of outreach to ask, what do you need? What can we do for you? How do we support you in the various areas that are part of the accelerated learning project? So we're working, and it's exciting that it's very tailored and fit to each of our individual school districts and their own needs. So we continue to work on that this year. Last item I wanted to put out there, and it's a big shout out to our division secretary, Jenny, who has worked extremely hard to bring our STEAM lending library back online. We had to shut down for a considerable amount of time due to the pandemic, and very excited to announce that we are back and we are open again for business, and that things are moving. We have things going out now, and Jenny did an incredible job of going through everything, getting it ready to go out again, getting that all of our online software and stuff ready to go to support the library. So we're excited that it is back up and going again, and schools can once again take advantage of the massive STEM resources that we have available for them to take advantage of. So I think that will do it for the Curriculum Services Division report. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. And thanks again for you and Becky to present at that national conference and represent us very well. All righty. Let's now go to Matt Thomas for Student Services Division. So go ahead, Matt, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. 4 highlight areas for the Student Services Division this quarter. And so I want to sort of review those with a level of amount of depth here. So most recently, we have a program that encompasses speech language, teaching of the visually impaired, teaching of the hearing impaired, and educational audiology that we have with that team worked very closely to rename the sensory impairment program. And a shout out goes to Amanda for leading the SIP team. You may hear them calling themselves the SIP team as they move forward with that. They have 2 initiatives currently going on. One, well, they have many initiatives going on, but 2 I'd like to highlight. One is the BEST program, or Building Experiences for Student Transition program. And Dr. Elizabeth Young, our educational audiologist, leads that subset of the SIP program, and has recently been encouraging, and this is sort of an all call for action for help with associating activities around community service. And just today, an email went out to support the BEST team with filling toiletry bags. So they're looking for items such as regular household toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, Band-Aids, mouthwash, etc., that they'll be assisting and working with that team. So if you're an internal employee, that email has gone out. Please be responsive and contact Dr. Young if you have any questions or the ability to support. Second subset of that program that I'd like to acknowledge is the DBRT, or the Deafblind Resource Team. So they have actually their first student for a district out of county that they're going to be supporting regionally. And that's a highly skilled team collaborating directly with Patton. And so again, I thank the entire team and for their leadership, as well as Amanda for her core leadership of all of those initiatives. So shout out to them. The Clairview School currently is enrolled at 108 students, 108, and this is the highest point we've had since 2 years ago. It continues to expand as we are here in a service mode to support our districts regionally as well as in county. And right now, the Clairview School is working on a thematic unit called Christmas Around the World. This is annual. If you would walk through the Clairview School right now, we sort of have it closed to outside visitors, but for certainly this is for staff. You're encouraged to show up there. You will see a ton of Christmas trees in the hallways. We've had to make some adjustments to physical plants so that we don't block fire extinguishers and cameras and things like that. A little shout out to Eric there and his team. But we've certainly made those adjustments as needed, and we're very grateful to a committed staff and thoughtful staff that wants to celebrate the ethnoculturalism of the world as we go through this holiday season. Third area I'd like to highlight is the caseload versus workload leadership conversations that are occurring in both school age and early intervention. These are highly technical conversations. Some of it is impacting graduate work. It's predominantly in related service areas where we are looking at caseload management of therapies and teleintervention and direct service in-person intervention. What we've seen so far, and I've only been on a handful of these in these settings, actually very early in school age and most recently in EI, is that we are seeing thought-provoking, thoughtful conversations occur among colleagues, debating topics, having that discourse to understand the protocols with more depth and of how they can manage numbers around workload and caseload in a way to provide better services or better practices for kids. And so we are very grateful for those conversations. And the last item I'd like to highlight is an implementation that we've been working on pre-pandemic that I think we're now starting to see the fruits of our labor. So for those of you on this call, we have all been, or those that may watch this later, we've all been involved in Frontline. We've originally worked as Frontline as an absence management tool, and we have now expanded to Frontline Professional Growth, which includes Act 48, PIL, and hours tracking in addition to our evaluations. We work with Frontline Time and Attendance for our hourly employees, and we work with Frontline Central for our general demographic information of the entire employee team here at the WIU. And finally, we've also implemented, with Kim Bush's help, the Frontline Recruiting and Hiring tool. So all of our front-facing applications or vacancies, rather, are able to be managed in an electronic context. In student services, though, we have a celebration to make, and it's something that I've learned very recently how to run reports in professional growth to analyze how much professional growth or training are our employees tracking as a result of this. And so here's a couple numbers for you. Since July 1st of 2020, so that is sort of the real beginning of the pandemic, we had conversations internally about, okay, I can sign up for a course, either externally or internally, and we also developed a self-directed reporting form. So if an employee had an occasion to have a half-hour virtual training, 1 hour, 3 hour virtual training, they were able to download a certificate for that course, upload it in the Frontline, and give themselves the credit for that time that is appropriately routed through the supervisory chain. Folks, we've had, just in student services, 7,320 hours tracked since July 1st of 2020. And the more telling part of that is we've had 3,747 hours just since July 1st of this year, which translates to about 18.5 hours per person. So when you think about the learning organization, we don't cultivate a learning organization here effortlessly. We're looking at trying to have strategic steps and activities and engaging people in learning processes that really allow us to test and to learn and to explore new products and services or new techniques and strategies. And that, to me, quantitatively, at least gives me the moment to have a hypothesis that we're moving in the direction of a highly engaged, self-directed learning organization. So I'm really excited about that, especially the self-directed learning piece, where people can go find learning that's very accessible online and then give themselves the credit for the amount of time that they've devoted for that. So I want to thank the entire student services team for helping with that, because everybody in the leadership realm of student services for those numbers, and again, that's just student services. That wasn't reflective of the whole organization. That's just student services. But everybody, either in a leadership role, Roanne, who manages a lot of our conferences and workshops or self-directed moments, as the student services division secretary, everybody has a piece of that in the routing process. So that's a lot of pointing and clicking to make sure that people are engaging and leaning into to be learning alongside each other. So huge celebration. Love to see what's going to happen going forward as we move into the second half of this year and see if we can beat 7,300 hours. We'll see what happens. We might be able to even go beyond that for this year. So very excited about that. And I think it all opens up a really huge conversation for us to say, listen, if you think there's something that you want us to look at offering, we can do that now. We can give those services and track it for you and provide those times. Final thought on frontline professional growth, specifically to those that are certified personnel that are Act 48. We now have less than 24-hour reporting in that system. So if your item has been submitted, your supervisor has accepted it, I as the director have accepted it. As soon as I accept that Act 48 hours and verify your certificate of completion, that item is then reported immediately following at 2 a.m. on the next day. So if that process takes a day or two to roll through, generally speaking, we're seeing people with almost in some cases, less than 24 hours of reporting, which is something that took lots of clerical time to do in the past. And here we now have implemented a system that's doing it very flawlessly and very effortlessly to create more efficiencies and time-sensitive support for our employees. So we're very excited about that. And with those items, Dr. Conway, that concludes our summary.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Matt. And thank you again, Eric and Tim, for providing that. Unfortunately, Lynn for financial services had a family item that she had to take care of and was unable to make it today with us. So with that, we'll conclude this edition of the quarterly meeting. We do appreciate everyone coming. Our next quarterly meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 9th in 2022. With that, I will open it up to see if anybody has any questions. They feel free to unmute yourself. Let me check here with the standing room running crowd here in my office. Nope, no one has a question here. Anybody out there that may have a question? All right, well, hearing none and seeing none in the chat, I thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And I do hope that you have a very safe holiday time period coming up. All right, take care, everyone.